Well, the rise of car sharing has seen a slow and steady growth over the past few years. As we can see here, according to Statista, worldwide car sharing revenue is set to hit just over $16 billion by 2027, and the number of active users will hit over 62 million. Now, Turo has played a role in this. It's a car-sharing marketplace both online and via its app. And we've got Turo Chief Data Officer Mangahas to speak with us here about the state of the car-sharing space. Thank you for joining us this morning here. So, talk about how much this space has really developed to this point and really the demographics that are driving this.
Absolutely. It's been really exciting to see peer-to-peer car sharing really grow over the years, and Turo has really been a leader in the industry for the past 13 years. And what we've seen is that there's a growing interest in being able to have a lot of the benefits Turo offers today, which is that extraordinary selection. Guests today can choose on Turo from a variety of cars of over 1,400 different makes and models. And we also have an unrivaled network of Turo hosts in over 11,000 cities across US, Canada, UK, France, and Australia. And so I think just having that selection and that network is something that consumers love. And there's a lot of opportunities for this to be really convenient for guests with hosts offering delivery as well.
And so for Turo, where are you seeing, even in that relationship with so many customers out there, I believe even from my own instance, trying to use Turo before, that there's an option to purchase insurance on top of your experience, that there's so many different instances where Turo can really be able to see an added margin benefit from even that one singular customer experience, but then keeping them within kind of the Turo ecosystem. How do you go about doing that, and what does the data tell you about some of those largest repeat customers?
Yeah, we're finding that Turo really satisfies a lot of different use cases. And there's a lot of different opportunities where us as Turo are able to find different revenue opportunities to our hosts as well. We actually have an ability for hosts to offer extras. And so for the 4th of July weekend, if folks are looking for some additional things to add to their trip and hosts have it, they can add that to the trip and make it really convenient for travelers to be able to have access, whether that's that surfboard or maybe they need that extra cooler and they can throw that into the trip as well. And so exciting to see there's a lot of different types of opportunities for travelers to, again, find a lot of the things they're looking for in terms of cars, but really enhancing that travel experience.
Albert, presumably a lot of your customers are under economic pressure right now, right? Inflation's been going up. They've had to make some hard choices about how they're going to be spending their money. And maybe now that choice has gotten even harder with this new ruling from the Supreme Court that we just learned about, that those who have student debt who haven't been paying it are going to have to start repaying as of September. I imagine a lot of your customers and potential customers have student debt. How is this going to affect your business?
Great question. So I think there's two sides of this. There is actually a survey from Bankrate that reports that despite these elevated interest rates and these pressures, 63% of U.S. adults still plan on traveling this summer. And that's actually up from 61% last year. But with more Americans looking to travel this summer, many of them are looking ways to cut back on travel costs. And one of the ways that we've seen and has really risen in the use case for Turo is many folks are looking to do road trips and opting to drive instead of flying to their destination to be able to cut back on costs. On the other side, as a host, Turo is changing the economics of car ownership. And so instead of having these cars that typically sit idle 95% of the time, Turo is transforming what's traditionally a depreciating asset that's sitting there in your garage or your parking lot and putting money back into host pockets. So in terms of hosts, this is allowing them to offset, if not actually make a profit by listing their car on Turo. So it's been exciting to be a part of that.
And what about, obviously, people are going to have to pay for the maintenance on their cars to be able to be hosts. If money's a little bit tight, are there any sort of incentives or anything that you offer, say, obviously, when people do Uber and there's incentives there, is there anything that Turo offers that would really help offset some of these additional costs that people have in maintaining their vehicles?
Yeah, I'd say just by simply listing on Turo, this is what is covering not only in some cases, the monthly financing, the insurance, as well as maintenance. Like all of that is hosts are able to actually recoup a lot of these costs just by listing on Turo. There's not even need to do any of these incentives, which is great. But time to time, and we will announce with our host community different types of incentives depending on where you are. But as of right now, I'd say that those incentives aren't even necessary for hosts to be able to make a profit and really grow their business.
And obviously, it's huge travel season coming up. You have the July 4th weekend. So for 4th of July, as people are sort of figuring out how they should go about either renting a car or doing something else, or even the hot spots where they can sort of get the most bang for their buck, what are the key findings that you're seeing this summer travel season?
Yeah, I think travel experts are expecting this holiday weekend to be one of the biggest ever for 4th of July. And so there's going to be a record number of people traveling. And again, one of the unfortunate challenges of that is that there actually has been an increased number of flight delays and cancellations. And so again, one of our biggest recommendations for folks who haven't booked their travel for this weekend yet is to think about doing a road trip. This is a way to kind of cut back on the flight costs, but still be able to experience and get outside and try a little different. Try to do different things with an exciting selection from Turo. And there's a lot of local Turo hosts still available with cars available for this weekend. And again, there's a lot of different destinations that we're in and across 11,000 cities. But I'd say the top destinations this coming weekend are LA, Hawaii, Denver, Orlando, Miami, as well as San Francisco.
I mean, that would be a long road trip from DC to Hawaii, but obviously people have options that are closer to home. A big thank you there to Turo Chief Data Officer Albert Mangahas. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.